Hello and welcome to my channel, your go-to source for the latest in USA Gossip 24. Don't forget to follow and subscribe for all the updates. Let's dive right in.
The country star revealed on The Voice that he likes to indulge in the seafood dish after ordering it for the first time on prom night. Blake Shelton is known to snack on a bag of Cheetos while he's on tour, and loves a simple homemade cheese dip. But the country legend also has a rather surprising rider request: calamari. So when The Voice coach Alum was delivered a massive bowl of fried squid at 8 o'clock in the morning, he happily chowed down. Carson Daly surprised Blake Shelton with morning calamari on Today. In May 2025, Shelton appeared on Today to talk about his marriage to Gwen Stefani and his 13th studio album, for recreational use only, in addition to performing his new song, Texas. But before any of that happened, Carson Daly, who was away from the Today studio hosting The Voice, surprised his friend with a big bowl of morning calamari. Daly couldn't be here today because he's busy hosting The Voice on the West Coast. But I hear he sent me a special message, Shelton said to the camera. "Viewing Today too, just play it. Hey buddy, sorry I'm not here. I wanted to be there for you on this huge day. But we've got another little TV show out in California called The Voice. Heard of it? Think it bought you a helicopter," Daly joked in a pre-taped video, making Shelton burst out laughing. "But before you head outside, Blake, there's something I'd like to share about you that people don't know," Daly continued. "Much in the same way that Van Halen famously wanted to have M&M's backstage, you two have a bit of a demand, and I want you to feel right at home today." "Oh my God. What is this?" Shelton said as a bowl was placed in front of him. "Is that calamari? Oh wow. I hope you're hungry, buddy," Daly's message continued. "Because we all know, at least I do, that you cannot do anything without your fried calamari. This is like donut calamari," Shelton told the Today co-hosts. Shelton later posed with his coveted bowl of calamari just before he took the stage to perform his song Texas, as part of Today's 2025 City Concert Series. Carson Daly told us Blake Shelton always requests an order of calamari on his rider, so it was only right that we got him one this morning for his city concert. Today captioned a TikTok video showing the country star holding his bowl of 8 a.m. calamari. Blake Shelton demanded calamari on The Voice set. During his tenure on The Voice, Shelton made sure there was calamari on set. "People don't realize that during your run on this show you demanded. Rock stars have rider lists, and it's usually champagne and blue M&Ms. Yours is calamari," Daly, who worked with Shelton on The Voice for 23 seasons, told the God's Country singer in a behind-the-scenes video. "And we've all had to suffer. It's not like it's in your trailer. It's the food we must all consume." Shelton then explained that he's always thought of calamari as a luxury after he first ordered the dish for the first time at Olive Garden on his senior prom night. "I drove with my date to Oklahoma City to an Olive Garden, and it was the first I ever heard or seen calamari. I remember people at the table saying, 'That's fancy, holy cow,'" Shelton recalled to Daly. "So in my mind, still now 100 years later, it's like, how can I really indulge?" Shelton joked. "I'm gonna demand calamari. They're never gonna be able to find that." Blake Shelton is no stranger to country chaos, early morning antics, and the kind of humor that seems to follow him everywhere he goes. But even he had to admit he was caught off guard by one of the most unexpected breakfast surprises of his recent memory: being served calamari at 8 a.m. with a cheerful, "Hope you're hungry, buddy." The moment, which quickly became a talking point among fans and insiders, wasn't part of any formal event or culinary challenge. Instead, it was a spontaneous, almost absurdly comedic incident that perfectly captures the playful energy surrounding Shelton's life offstage. Known for his down-to-earth personality and quick wit, Blake's reaction turned what could have been a bizarre food mishap into a story fans can't stop laughing about. A morning that didn't start normally. According to those familiar with the situation, the morning began like any other relaxed early day in Shelton's world. There was no big press tour, no awards show, and no high-pressure filming schedule. Blake Shelton, who has often spoken about enjoying simple mornings away from the spotlight, was reportedly expecting something along the lines of coffee, eggs, or maybe even biscuits and gravy. Instead, he was greeted with a plate of fried calamari. Yes, calamari. At 8 a.m., the unexpected dish was presented with enthusiasm by a friend who apparently believed that there's no wrong time for seafood. The friend's cheerful delivery, "Hope you're hungry, buddy," only added to the surreal nature of the moment. Shelton reportedly paused for a moment, taking in the sight of crispy squid rings sitting where pancakes or bacon would normally be. For a man who has spent years embracing both Southern comfort food and tour bus snacks, even he seemed momentarily unsure how to respond. Blake Shelton's reaction: confusion first, comedy second. Those present described Shelton's initial reaction as a mixture of disbelief and amusement. He allegedly leaned back, looked at the plate, and asked something along the lines of whether this was a prank or a punishment. But once the shock wore off, the humor of the situation took over. Blake Shelton has always been quick to turn awkward or unexpected moments into jokes, and this was no exception. He reportedly laughed and said something to the effect of, "I don't even know what time zone this food belongs in." That line alone was enough to set off laughter from everyone nearby. The country star didn't refuse the dish outright either. Instead, he reportedly picked at a piece, still trying to reconcile the fact that he was eating fried seafood at a time when most people hadn't even fully woken up yet. The combination of crispy texture, early morning haze, and pure confusion made for what he later jokingly called a breakfast I didn't know I was emotionally prepared for. Why calamari at breakfast feels so wrong? Part of what made the moment so funny to fans is the sheer mismatch between the dish and the hour. Calamari is typically associated with late-night dining, coastal restaurants, and appetizer menus, not early morning kitchens. Food experts might argue there's no actual rule against eating fried squid at breakfast, but culturally, it just feels off. Breakfast in the United States, especially in the Southern traditions Blake Shelton grew up with in Oklahoma, tends to lean toward hearty, warm, and familiar comfort foods. So when that expectation is replaced with something crispy, ocean-derived, and usually paired with marinara sauce and a glass of white wine, the brain needs a moment to catch up. That disconnect is exactly what made Shelton's experience so memorable. It wasn't just about the food, it was about the timing, the delivery, and the sheer randomness of it all. Friends, humor, and the Shelton lifestyle. Blake Shelton has always been surrounded by people who share his sense of humor. Whether it's fellow musicians, TV colleagues from his time on The Voice, or longtime friends, his circle is known for playful teasing and lighthearted pranks. This calamari incident fits neatly into that dynamic. Insiders suggest the friend who served the dish wasn't trying to be cruel or bizarre, just funny. In fact, it's likely part of an ongoing pattern of joking around, where normal expectations are intentionally flipped for comedic effect. And Shelton, who has built a career on not taking himself too seriously, is the perfect target for that kind of humor. His reactions often become part of the joke itself, especially when they involve unexpected twists like seafood breakfasts or impromptu pranks on set. Fans react to the story. Once the story surfaced, fans wasted no time reacting online. Many joked that Blake Shelton eating calamari at 8 a.m. sounded like the beginning of a country song no one saw coming. Others imagined what his wife, Gwen Stefani, might have said if she had been there to witness the moment. Some fans even turned it into a running gag, suggesting that Shelton should now try an entire seafood breakfast tour, where each morning meal gets progressively more unhinged. Shrimp and grits at sunrise, lobster tail with coffee, and so on. The humor worked because it felt so authentically Blake Shelton. He's not a celebrity who shies away from looking silly or being caught in absurd situations. If anything, he leans into it, a reminder of his down-to-earth persona. While the calamari at 8 a.m. story is funny on the surface, it also highlights something fans have always appreciated about Shelton: his grounded personality. Despite his fame as a multi-award-winning country artist and television coach, he remains someone who can laugh at unexpected situations, even when they involve unconventional breakfast choices. Instead of turning it into a complaint or brushing it off, he turned it into a joke. That ability to stay relaxed and amused in weird moments is part of why fans feel so connected to him. Whether he's performing on stage, mentoring singers on The Voice, or being surprised with seafood before noon, he remains consistently unpretentious. The lasting humor of a simple morning. In the grand scheme of celebrity stories, being served calamari at 8 a.m. might seem minor. There were no scandals, no controversies, no dramatic revelations, just an oddly timed meal and a funny reaction. But sometimes, those are the stories that stick the longest. It's easy to imagine Blake Shelton retelling the moment himself in interviews, exaggerating it slightly each time for comedic effect. "Next thing I know," he might say, "they're handing me squid like it's a pancake breakfast special." And fans would love it just as much every time. Because at its core, the story isn't really about calamari. It's about timing, friendship, surprise, and the kind of humor that makes even an 8 a.m. meal feel like a punchline waiting to happen. In true Blake Shelton fashion, what could have been a strange breakfast became another memorable, laugh out loud chapter in his ongoing collection of everyday absurdities.